Matthew Moss is a secondary school here in Rochdale. Our intake is predominantly local learners. We service the local area and teach learners from 11 to 16. We have a very firm belief that learning is relational, and therefore at Matthew Moss we put an awful lot of emphasis into relationships between learners and staff.
We started using Tassomai in December of 2017, and so we've been running it for about a year, and we have been really happy with it. The success rates have been amazing, the engagement rates have been fantastic, and we're really planning on using it in the future.
Obviously the whole purpose of Tassomai was because it was going to have impact in terms of our results and outcomes. We could only really look at what we'd changed during the course of the year, and one of the things that we had changed was we'd implemented Tassomai.
Tassomai for us has been a way to engage our learners in short, low stakes formative assessment where it's okay to get it wrong, but it helps to bank up the basal knowledge that the learners need for the exams before they get in, so we don't have to spend so much time reteaching basic concepts. We know that Tassomai has been really successful for us in terms of the first cohort that used it a lot, were our outgoing Year 11s in 2018, and as a result of using Tassomai to bank up that basal knowledge, we've had some of our best science results that the school has ever seen. Tassomai isn't a stick to beat learners with, it's a tool to bring them with us.
And so it was the 17th of December before we were ready to launch with learners, which actually in the academic year is quite late. The exams were approaching in the May. It was imperative that we introduced this and got this out, and the onus of responsibility being on the learners to engage with this really quickly.
The first moment I realised that Tassomai was going to have an impact was on a particular student of mine. This student was a Year 11 student and he wasn't engaging in science. Just before I launched Tassomai, to put it into context, he was achieving a grade 3 and a grade 4. In his GCSEs, he got a grade 8 and a grade 7. And I honestly contribute Tassomai to such a huge element of that. But he said, no way did I get an 8 in science. And he was like, Miss, Tassomai works. So it was just great.
I think if we weren't using Tassomai, we would still be doing what we'd always done and being just as frustrated when we weren't getting anywhere with it. Schools haven't really changed their approach to revision and exam preparation in a really, really long time. And whether anyone's really thought about the best way to do it. And all the research shows that low stakes, formative assessment, where the answers are provided, are the best thing to do.
Where I came from, I'm normally predicted a 7. I'm a 7 as in both sciences. But now in my mock exams I've got a 9, 9 and an 8. So I've significantly improved.
I'm not good at revising, to be honest. So I'm more good with using technology for revision. So Tassomai is really helpful for me. If you're not good with paper revision and stuff and you prefer using technology, then I'd recommend Tassomai.
I moved away for a year to Scotland, so when I come back, obviously Tassomai was around. So I've used it a lot to catch up in learning that I've missed.
The way it's set out, it makes you want to do it more instead of like stopping there, like a lot of worksheets and boring things like that do.
My grades have gone so far up, so I was working at like a 2 last year and I'm working at like a 4, 5 now.
I use it a lot because it's like easier because it's on like a mobile device. On book it just doesn't seem to go in. Basically if you access Tassomai, it'll help your grades increase and overtaking people.
The team bought into it really readily, really quickly. It wasn't a challenge really. I think the staff within the department saw the impact relatively quickly after launch, and therefore it became self-perpetuating at that point.
So I encourage engagement in Tassomai through competition. Now, the ideal is you want all your students to be intrinsically motivated to revise. However, in reality, a lot of the time students struggle to know where to start. And I found competition was a really good way for them to initiate engaging with Tassomai. I'm quite competitive, my students are very competitive, and as a result, therefore, we engage in weekly competitions. I think what's really great about Tassomai in terms of competition is it gives the students immediate gratification. In a world full of social media, in a world full of instant likes, the students like to see that their progress or their efforts have got immediate outcomes.
They really liked to buy into the idea of competition as a class. So as teachers we can see how our classes compare against each other's. So I'm going to be fuming if my class is being beaten by Miss King down the corridor, so we kind of get them all whipped up into it, and not only does it kind of bring their scores up, but it helps to really bring the class together as a team.
I'm a competitive person, like not just with school, with sports and everything. So when Miss Granell comes in our classroom, it's like, our class is overtaking yours. It motivates me to go home and do as many questions as I can.
Here at Matthew Moss we have a programme called D6, which is a Saturday school available to all learners across the school, regardless of the year that they are in. But it's one which is staffed and run by our local sixth form students who come in and tutor. The data that learners get from Tassomai in terms of what they do and don't know, they were able to take to D6 and ask for coaching specifically on certain areas with the coaches.
I find D6 very useful because I can use it to consolidate my learning, and anything I don't understand, I can ask tutors.
A lot of learners, I think, when it gets to revision, think this is insurmountable. I can't get past this, so pen down, I'm not going to bother. Tassomai is the solution to that. It's so winnable and it's so achievable.
So if I was to give advice to a fellow colleague or somebody from another school who was thinking of using Tassomai, my first thing would be do it.
The more a learner engages with the platform, the better their outcomes, the better their results, the better their understanding. It really does have an impact in terms of what learners know and therefore what they then achieve.